Hello, and this video is on oil, two-stroke oil, mixing basics. And I'm not going to show you how to mix the oil. This is more of how to come up with the proper ratios. And the only reason I'm doing this video just last second is a number of times over the past couple of weeks, I've gotten so confused with conversations with customers on how much oil they're mixing. And then I realized none of us were speaking the same language. So hopefully this video makes it a little bit simpler so all of us can speak the same language when it comes to oil ratios. So I'm going to cover that today, and at the end of the video, I'll give you my recipe for margaritas, which works perfectly for this ratio video. So again, we have oil on this side. So this one I have the Maxima 927. You can pick it up at shopswedetech.com. Motul Cart Grand Prix, we have on shopswedetech.com as well. This is probably the most popular oil for the shifters, the IAMIs, the vortexes, because many series mandate the oils. So today, the ratio numbers I'm going to use are generic. I'm going to use 32 to 1, just because I know that number off the top of my head. 32 to 1, which is 4 ounces to the gallon. So we're using 32 to 1. But when you compete, always read the rule book. Always check with the Racing Association for number 1. Do they have a spec oil? So Scusa, spec oil, Motul Cart Grand Prix. Rock Cup, Motul Cart Grand Prix. For years, this has been a mainstay in karting. So again, check the rules. And then also, some associations specify what ratio you can run for the engine application. So read the rule book. Do not mix oils, because if you're in a series, that may or may not trigger a bad fuel test. So again, we're going to go over the ratios. At the end of the video, I'll give you my margarita recipe, and it's very simple, but I can use my cups. So again, the left side, we have oil. In the middle, we have a Ratio-Rite. And on the right side, you can just barely see it. I'll move the card here. Let's go there. This just represents the gas side, because this is going to be a visual here. And so again, this is going to be the oil side. This is going to be the gas side. So 4 ounces to the gallon would be 32 to 1. If you have a Ratio-Rite, this is a very popular brand. They have ounces, cc's, and pints. I'm not a big beer drinker, so I'm not going to use pints. I'm going to use floral ounces. And the reason I wrote a 4 on this cup was you can't really see the numbers. So 4 ounces. So what you're going to do is, if it's 4 ounces to the gallon, you're going to fill the ratio up right to there, 4 ounces per gallon. If you're running 4 gallons and it requires 4 ounces per gallon, that's going to be 16 ounces, 4 times 4. 16 ounces, so you'd fill it up to there. One thing that drives me nuts is when a customer says, oh, I just pour a bottle into the jug, but they don't know what ratio it is. And that drives me nuts, because I don't know what the ratio is. I don't know what bottle you grabbed. I don't know how much gas is in the jug. A couple years ago, they used to have 4 gallons of VP in the gas jugs in those little 5-gallon containers. And I don't know if they still do that, or if it's actually 5 gallons. I don't know. I pour it out of the gas container into a separate container. And another tip, only mix enough fuel for the day. I don't like having fuel sitting overnight. A lot of times you're racing in conditions where it's cold. Maxima, it even says it on the bottle, anything under 35 degrees, the oil can separate. That's going to cause you big problems the following day. So only mix enough for the day. Where was I? Many of you know I get distracted in these videos because I ramble. I'm a good rambler. And so we'll go back. 4 ounces, 4. Okay? 4 ounces to a gallon is a 32 to 1 ratio. So I highlighted it on the cup, on the Ratio-Rite, because you can't see the little markings here. So the way the Ratio-Rite works is at the top, it says gallons right here. And then there's a 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. So let's say we're mixing 1 gallon and your engine builder or manufacturer or the sanctioning body said, we're running 32 to 1. So you mix 1 gallon, 1.0. You pour up to the 32 to 1 in oil. So 32 to 1, that means 32 parts of fuel, 32 parts, to 1 part oil. So I have these little cups to explain that as well, just as a visual. I like visuals. So 32 to 1. Now let's skip over to 2.5 gallons. So using the Ratio-Rite, if you're mixing 2.5 gallons for the day, gallons, 2.5, go down to 32 to 1. You're going to fill your oil up to that mark. Always do it on a level surface unless you like guessing. So do it on a level surface and fill it right up to that mark. And when I'm done pouring the oil, I like to rinse it out with the gas that I'm using. So that's it on the Ratio-Rite. Now, the visual part. There's 4 cups in each little stack. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? 4. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stacks, 4 cups, 32. Okay? Those aren't even in the picture. There we go. 32 to 1. 32 parts of fuel to 1 part of oil. So I hope that makes it very clear. And if you're dealing with the Europeans, many times they come over and they do percentages. So if they're doing a percentage, 32 to 1 or 4 ounces of the gallon works out to be 3.125%. So make sure when you're talking to someone about mixing oil that you're on the same page, you speak the same language. Doesn't matter if it's English or Italian or Spanish, doesn't matter. Make sure you all know what you're talking about. So again, 32 parts of gas to 1 part of oil. And if we're in California, I cannot call this a gas jug. Don't ask me why. Some politician's brother probably makes some dumbass nozzle where you pour gas all over the place. So I am in California. So this is a liquid container. This is not a gas jug. So gas, 32. Oil, 1. 32 to 1. So I think we covered it. And again, 4 ounces to the gallon equals 32 to 1. 1 gallon has 128 ounces in it. Percentage-wise, that would be 3.125%. So there you go. Now, for the best part, the margarita recipe. This one's really simple. So the margarita recipe. Many people that know me know I like my margaritas. Sometimes I make some pretty darn good ones, and I've been known to make some pretty bad ones as well. So the biggest thing when you're making a margarita, start with good tequila. If you can't drink the tequila by itself, it's still going to make a shitty margarita. I mean, a bad margarita. So my recipe for a margarita, I like visuals. 2 parts of tequila. Oops, I kicked the stand. Sorry about that. Am I back in focus? No, I've not been drinking. I'm just clumsy. So, 2 parts tequila. 1 part lime. And if I'm doing it for a few people, I try to find the best fresh limes. If I'm doing it for a lot of people, I've found a fresh squeezed lime juice product at the store that's in a jar that makes a good product. Again, if you can't drink it by itself, it's not going to make a good margarita. So start with good tequila, start with good lime, and the third part is triple sec. Again, start with a good triple sec. And if people like it a little bit sweeter, I will add some agave. So sometimes I'll do an extra part of agave nectar for the margaritas. But generally, I go 2 parts tequila, 1 part lime, 1 part triple sec, or orange liqueur, or Cointreau. Just depends on how many I'm making and who I'm making them for. I'm not going to lie. So that's it. So back to business. 1 part oil. 32 parts of fuel. 32 to 1. Have a great day.